Good afternoon, everyone. It's 1 o'clock. I would like to call this meeting to order. We're sitting today as a council. We do have 5 members of council present, and we are in the presence of staff, including our municipal clerk and deputy clerk. Our first item of business on our agenda is our land acknowledgement statement. The Township of Hamilton is situated in the traditional territory of the Mississauga, Nishnabek, and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nation. Our work on these lands respectfully acknowledges the resilience and their long-lasting contributions to the area now known as the Township of Hamilton. I'll ask, but I don't believe we have any additions to the agenda today. So we'll move on to item 4, which is confirmation of the agenda. Prepared motion reads that the agenda for the council meeting held on May 20th, 2025 be approved. Do I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Mark, second by John. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 5, are there any declarations of pecuniary interest today? Seeing none, that will be recorded. We do have some visitors with us, but I don't believe we'll have any questions from the public on today's agenda. Have we had anyone register with us or anything? Moving on then to item 8.1. Motion to go into a public meeting. And there isn't any. 10.1, council meeting minutes. Prepared motion under 10.1 is that the minutes of the April 15th, 2025 council meeting be adopted. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Bruce, seconded by Larry. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. There is no business rising from the previous minutes. So we'll move on to item 12 on our agenda, committee reports. We'll get a motion to put this on the floor and then we'll go back and see if anybody wants to pull anything from this. So we're dealing with items 12.2 to 12.5. We'll deal with them collectively. Motion reads that the agenda items of 12.2 to 12.5 on the May 20th, 2025 council meeting agenda be received for information. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Larry, seconded by Mark. All those in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you. Okay. In that group of 12.2 to 12.5, is there any item that any council member would like to pull? John, you have one?
Yes.
Very well. Please proceed, John.
Sorry, my question is, sorry.
Oh. John, you had me follow you 100%. Do we have any questions on 12.2 to 12.5? Larry, is it between 12.2 and 12.5?
Ready?
Yeah, it's regarding the issue group 12.5. I just want to make sure that oh, I'm on now. At 12.5, the Northumberland physician recruitment. I want to make sure that all council members read that document thoroughly and get a good grasp of it because it's going to be coming forward. And I just want to make sure that that's done. Thank you.
I could piggyback on that a little bit. There is going to be discussions at the county council level on this topic as well. So if you have any opinions that you could share with me, I would appreciate it as well. And that meeting agenda is tomorrow. Further on 12.2 to 12.5. Thank you, Larry, for that. Okay, item 13. The standby generators. Mr. Kelly, you can see the interest that some of us have had on generators has now transferred to others.
I see that.
Is there I'll get the motion to put it on the floor and before we vote on it, we'll have discussion. Prepared motion is the council receives report Public Works and Infrastructure 2025-04 Hamilton Township standby generators update for information, and the council authorized staff to transfer $7,124 from the roads generator reserve to fund the installation of additional fuel tank at the Harwood Fire Hall. I have a mover and a seconder. Moved by Bruce, second by Larry. Questions at this time? John?
My apologies for jumping ahead. Okay, Through through you, Mayor Jim. Just a question is, I believe back a few months ago, there was inspections on the generators and have been updated and upgraded and whatever else. Was this recognized at that time that the fuel tanks were insufficient for the fire hall?
So through you, your worship, no, it wasn't really determined. We knew it had a small tank, but we did not know the actual capacity of it. So through the ice storm, when there was prolonged running of these generators, based on the calculations, we were able to determine what size of fuel tank there was. There has been conversations about there might have been a repair done to it years ago and it reduced the fuel capacity. I'm not sure about the specifics of that repair, but I just know today with facts measuring fuel, we know how small this fuel tank is.
Follow up?
Yeah, just a follow-up question. So all the rest of the generators have been analyzed and therefore the fuel tanks are at capacity?
Yes,
If running of a certain period of time?
So yes, so based on the reports, most of the generators have about 200 to 240 gallon fuel tanks, except for Hartwood. So we feel very comfortable with all the other generators based on the calculations. They can run from 4 to 10 days on one fill up, except for Hartwood. And it's approximately 15 hours before we have to fill it up.
Thank you.
Question and comment. Historically, this generator has been an issue. Since day one, almost. I have a concern, grave concern, about spending $7,000 on a fuel tank. Although I understand the objective, considering the history of this generator. If this was approved today, when might we implement this in relationship to timing?
We got the quote last week or a couple weeks ago. It would probably be about 4 to 6 weeks for installation.
Thank you. I feel that this is a stopgap for this generator. I feel that the project should be bigger than just a fuel tank. In fact, pretty much everyone in this room knows that if this generator got set aside and sold for scrap metal, we might be finding the best use for it. We've had issues with radiators. We've had issues with engine components. We've had issues. Has there been any consideration of a more advanced, more involved review of this generator in respect to replacement and what those dollars might be? And if not, I was wondering if we might set this decision aside to get some of those other numbers. And I know, Lucas, you're here as staff and are directly involved. And I also know that our fire department is represented here today and may also have a comment for us. So I throw that out to anyone in the room in relationship to the future longer longevity of this generator and assess whether our $7,000 is a good investment at this point in time. I rambled, my apologies, but you knew I would have asked that weeks ago, so I'm sure you're prepared.
So I will try my best to address some of the comments. So since I've been here, Hartwood Generator Hall has been talked about. Since I've been here, that we haven't had any major issues with that generator. And as on the report says, it has about 720 hours on it. So the issue that we have is the generator is the fuel tank capacity. So this report was created for the issue that we are aware of today. So it was to solve the issue of having fuel to this generator to run on a long-term basis. So it is a 200-gallon tank, so it'd be very similar to as all other generators. It would be a secondary tank plumbed outside the generator, but it would operate very similar timing as the others. There, through the report, through the annual inspections, there hasn't been any major red flags for this generator. So I mean, it's running, it serves the need of the fire department, I believe. Mike can comment on it after, or if he, but it serves a purpose to power the building. I did get quotes, or a quote to get a standalone new generator. And you're approximately it's about $35,000 for the generator plus installation. So you're about $6,000 to $8,000 for a new generator installed to serve the exact same purpose to provide power to the Harwood Fire Hall. I did not feel comfortable putting that in the report because if we're taking more money from reserves, I know how sensitive the matter is. So for this purpose, to solve the generator issues at the Harwood Fire Hall was based on fuel only. And we did get a couple quotes to replace the generator entirely, but I did not feel like it was needed at this time.
Thank you, and I appreciate your objectives. One could look at your comments and say, oh, this generator's worked fine since I've been here. We could look at that as positive news, positive objectives. Or we could look at that the other way and say, it's about to blow up again. And I'm not sure which way that's going to happen. Only the future will tell. I probably have a little more history there than I guess anyone in the room. And I have those concerns on that generator. I guess to be fair, I understand your position. You're dealing with the present circumstance. Appreciate that. Our fire chief is here. Would anyone like to? I know I would have a comment and a thought from Mr. Robinson on this building and this generator.
Maybe through you, Mayor Jeb, I'll take you off script on a couple things that also I think weigh into this conversation. So there was the ability through a provincial grant to access some money, which we did try to put some generator money out this year, which we were unsuccessful for. I think in the last few years, we've identified the whole generator project as a whole and have started putting capital monies towards that. So I think Lucas owning that now would be best suited to take a look at that in general for the whole municipality. And then I'll just leave a comment as well that the emergency management, general emergency management budget that's been traditionally around $5,000, $5,500 throughout the municipality with where things have been going, especially in the weather events, then it's no doubt in our mind that they're going to continue. And things like these generators will be something that are tasked. When we kind of took the generators out of the facilities and placed them into public works, we don't manage them as a facility budget. So all budget and all matters that have been there, as well as the mechanical piece that Lucas is speaking of, have been placed with them. I too will echo that right now we haven't had any problems other than fuel consumption with that station. Certainly something that needs to happen. But I don't really have an opinion one way or another, other than when the opportunity comes to replace, that would be one that should come off first. So I would leave for council's decision whether they want to, buy some time or do something a little more permanent.
Thank you. I don't believe I need to turn to Nazrat, but, and that's simply because, I remember the day we implemented our contributions to reserve for generators at the rate of $10,000 per year. And by my math, I was the one that started that, and I've been on council for 10 years or thereabouts, so we should have $100,000 in that fund.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, by the end of 2025, we should have $100,000.
Thank you. Mark, I believe you had a question?
Yeah, if I may, the tank that we're going to install or be part of the generator, can it be used on a new generator if we were to put one in? Like, is it something that's,
Sorry, can you repeat that?
the tank that you're looking at purchasing for the $7,000, can that be used on a new generator at a later date? Or is that something specifically for the one that's there now?
I'm not, it's gonna be more or less an oil tank, a fuel tank. So it may be able to get incorporated into, say, a trailer mount generator, but I am not the licensee about how you transport fuel at that capacity on a trailer with a generator mounted to it. I'm not completely sure.
Okay, because it'd be nice to know whether we could, share Scott's views. I mean, it was that darn old building official of the day that made us put this generator in, but but anyways. But but no, if there's a way of using that tank, at least we're not throwing $7,000 at the window, which, we may only use for 2 or 3 years, so. It'd be nice to come back with that. And if we need to defer this for a month, I'd be more than willing to do that.
I'll just set aside my own personal and go around the room. Any further comments, questions? I'll look to any staff, any further comments or questions you wish to share with us? Larry?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. I'm pretty ignorant on these generators, but it seems to me we're using fuel to run these generators. What about the home style generator, the big one with the gas that are fired by gas? Is there any consideration of using that type of generator?
So we did look at some of the options about natural gas, so we don't have to transport, but that's something that we would have to contact Enbridge about volume of the gas line. I'm not sure if there's gas out on Front Street. No gas on Front Street, so it would have to be either diesel, maybe propane. But all the other ones are diesel, so we would look at probably a diesel fired generator.
Okay, thank you.
Just clarified, because I get too much interest in this topic. We do have a mover, we do have a seconder of the motion that's before us, which is including that we authorize $7,000 from the roads generator reserve for this fuel tank. Do we wish to vote on that at this time?
I'd like to make a motion to defer the report and have further information brought back on a new generator. And I know you've done some of that already, but also to see whether this tank can be used in place if we do have to replace this generator.
Or, my mind's going to maybe an alternate tank that would work in the interim that could in fact be used on a stationary
Sure.
generator in the future. I mean, and those things we're gonna leave with Lucas to sort out, I'm sure.
Sure.
Okay, to our clerk in the know, we've got a motion we got the start of a motion to defer. If we second that motion to defer, that sets aside our original motion and we're not any issues with process. Okay, so Mark started a motion to defer. Bruce is seconding. Any questions or comments on that deferral? Okay, I do have another question on another generator, but let's deal with this. All those in favor of the motion to defer with the objectives that Mark's identified? Carried, thank you. Lucas, just a follow-up question. I'm gonna pick on Cold Springs Hall because there's no personnel on an ongoing basis at Cold Springs Hall. In your report, it talks about a monthly report or monthly review. Who would do those monthly reviews at that building, for example?
So the way that I believe it was left is that the facility owners would do the visual monthly reviews. And that's all they are, visual. If there is anything more than that, it would come back to our department for any maintenance, repairs, or services through that have been identified through that report.
Okay, just again, a follow-up. What would a visual be? Like, would a visual be to check the battery gauges, check the fuel, check the oil? What's a visual include?
Check for hoses, check for the fluid levels, check if there's any other leaks. It's just a simple visual review. And that's all it is.
And when that review is completed, there's information coming back to you as the generator manager that that's been completed satisfactory?
If there's actions that need to be completed, they would come back to me, but they do not come back on a monthly basis for all departments.
So I guess I could look at Trevor. You look after Cold Springs Hall, obviously, or your department does. Monthly reviews go quite regularly?
Yeah, so the monthly reviews, we basically go into the ones, we check the oil and make sure the fuel is filled up. We don't start it, do anything like that. We just give it a visual check. There's a logbook that we track that in. Anything that we notice, if there's an issue, then we let Public Works know about it.
Excellent, thank you. Bruce, follow-up question?
Well, I know there is an automatic start, a weekly start. On, I don't know if it's on all of them, but it is on some. I know the one at Baltimore Arena has an automatic start. That, yeah, I think it was every Saturday at 2 a.m. or something. It starts up.
And Baltimore Fire Hall. The last two generators we actually installed, that option was exercised. John?
Right, Jim. I was under the impression, many meetings ago, that the mechanic was gonna go out and do the inspections on this once or twice a year, or on what basis is that scenario on?
So the ones we do are just monthly checks. So our staff will partake in them usually when they do their health and safety inspections. It's part of that process monthly, but again, we don't run them. I'm not sure about that part. Lucas could answer that.
This is the last cycle of staff on this topic, okay, guys?
So the mechanic does do the maintenance on them, batteries, oils, if there's anything pressed on. But also we do sub out the load testing, which we just don't have. So there is a contractor that comes in and does a 2-hour load test on them. And during those reviews, they have a service truck here that if there's something minor on some of the reports, it was a leaking radiator cap, they would just repair it when we're there. But when storms that are forecasted, I do know that the mechanic does go around just like before the ice storm. You'll see why we have the updated hour meters is that they were out there, did make sure he fired all the generators and make sure they're in a state of readiness. So he does not do them monthly. We leave it to the department heads. But he is there, I would say, twice a year doing a more thorough review, as well as a third-party contractor that comes in and does the load bank testing.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments? Just in a humorous sort of way, we of course all should realize there's 2 generators at the water plants we haven't talked about yet. Anyway, thank you, everyone. So we've got a good motion at the end of all that debate and a little bit of fun in the middle of it, and we're good to move forward with technical information in the future. Moving right on to 15.1, our first quarter financial report. Prepared motion is that council receives report 2025-05, being the 2025 first quarter financial report for period ending March 31st of 2025 as information. And of course, we have Nazrat with us if we have any questions. So could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Mark, seconded by Larry. Any questions or comments for staff? Nazrat, is there anything that you would like to share with us above and beyond the report, or?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, nothing much to add. I do want to mention that we have seen a few significant winter events this year. That's a negative part. In terms of the positive part, we are seeing a significant increase in recreation revenue compared to last year.
Thank you, Nazareth. Okay. Motion's been read, first and seconded. All those in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you. 15.2 on our agenda, user fee update. Prepared motion reads, the council receives report T 2025-06 being the 2026 user fee update for information, and the council approves the proposed user fee set out in report T 2025-06, 2026 user fee update, and the township fees and charges bylaw be approved to include the approved 2026 user fees. Mover and the seconder. John, Larry, any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. 15.3, request for credit reduction. Motion reads, the council authorizes the reduction of the letters of credit for the Neil Dennis Enterprises Limited subdivision in Bewdley, being 14T 91011, Northumberland County file number D12 91011, location part lot 35, concession 8, Hamilton, north of Lake Street, east of Boundary Road, for 6-lot development on plan 39M 934, from the present $111,294.50 to $77,829.70, representing the 20% maintenance security required until assumption of the subdivision. Moving a seconder, please. Moved by Bruce, seconded by Larry. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. 15.4, the Health Team Northumberland lead physician recruitment model. Prepared motion, the council receives report CAO 2025-04, Ontario Health Team Northumberland led physician recruitment model for information. The council endorsed and principal the Ontario Health Team of Northumberland's request to lead a countywide physician recruitment initiative, and the council invite Ontario Health Team Northumberland representatives, Dr. Fraser Cameron and Andrea Groff, executive lead, to a future council meeting to provide a full briefing, including budget, governance, performance metrics, and implementation timeline. And the council directs staff to participate in discussions with the Ontario Health Team and neighboring municipalities to help define and clarify the township's future role and contributions, and update council as needed. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Mark, seconded by John. Questions, comments? John.
Yes, through you, Mayor Jib. It's a very good report. I liked it. The motion reads into my question, and also the two options reads into my question as well. And it was quite amiss by the fact that the risk when the details are not yet available in expanding municipal financial contributions or decision-making role. That kind of threw me off right there. I kind of thought, well, why would this report be coming forward without any great details such as that? And it's really a role that you know, I know that the presenter who made this document available to us is great, but they should have come up with a more detailed financial report and who's responsible, how much it cost us. So that's the only comments I have. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Larry.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, maybe I can comment on that. This whole physician recruitment is in flux right now. I think Arthur did a tremendous job of putting this report together. With regards to funding, we don't know where it is. But, you know, as the mayor had indicated, there's going to be discussion about this at the county council tomorrow. The only thing I can say is that currently right now, our Northumberland County does not have a physician recruitment, a person out there recruiting. We're going to need 19 to 20 doctors in the next few years. And, you know, as I'm sitting on the board, I am perplexed at where this is all happening. Dr. Jane Philpott, who was directed by the province to find a way to solve this problem of family or physician care. And she is working hard at that. She's using a number of ways to go about it. But it's come to our attention that the Ontario Health Teams Network, Northumberland would form a county-wide physician recruitment process. We're not just talking about Cobourg or Port Hope. We're talking about Campbellford, Trenton, and others. And so there's a bit of a switch around on this, but I want to make sure that our council approves this direction, because we have to make our voice heard. We're one of 7. So there's been some flux in the decisions that are being made. But this will be brought up tomorrow at County Council. But I want to make sure that we approve this direction, because I believe strongly, being on the board, and I've seen what has happened in the last two sessions, that this is the way to go. And so that's all I've got to say right now. Thanks.
Thank you, Larry. My personal concern is that the effectiveness of the past is upon us. We're in I don't want to use the word crisis, but we're in an unfortunate position. We have not been enjoying the success that we needed to for recruiting doctors in the last several years. There's many issues to that, A unified front with a concentrated energy and effort without duplication of other agencies, other departments, other organizations is where my mind sits right now. And I'm concerned that we're not, when I say we, I mean countywide, I'm concerned that we're not all in that same mindset. Obviously, we will know, I will know more in the next few days, but consolidated effort with the objective of success is where we need to be. And from what I know today, the Ontario Health Team Northumberland is in fact where I would support if I were doing that without any further engagement from my fellow council members. I'm optimistic that other municipalities are thinking the same, but I do not know, and I won't know for a bit. So again, I emphasize, if you have thoughts and information that can benefit us at Hamilton Township that I can utilize in a future meeting, please get it to me. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, we have a motion. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. 15.5. Our Harwood Historic Railway Station project. Council receives report 2025-04, being the Harwood Historic Railway Station project for information, and that the Harwood Historic Railway Station Working Group be established in the terms of reference attached as Appendix A to, to report CD 2025-04 be approved. Could I have a mover and a second to get this on the floor? Moved by John, seconded by Larry. Any questions or comments? Okay, I thought there would be. Okay, thank you. All those in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you. 15.6, Development Services Year-End Statistics. Prepared motion that council receives report Building 2025-01, being the 2024 Development Services Year-End Report for information only. Mover and the seconder, please. Moved by John, seconded by Bruce. Any questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you. 15.7, Reserve and Reserve Funds Transfers. Prepared motion. The council receives report T 2025-07, 2024 reserve and reserve fund transfers for information. And the council authorized the treasurer to transfer funds to or from reserves and reserve funds as part of the 2024 year-end audit. Move in a seconder, moved by Larry, seconded by Mark. Any questions? We have staff here, of course. Any questions or comments? Nezra, would you like to add, or are we good? Thank you. All those in favor? Carried, thank you. Nothing under emergency services. 17.1, motion reads that the agenda items of 17.2 to 17.6 on the May 20th, 2025 council meeting agenda be received. Again, we'll pull anything you wish after it's been moved and seconded. Mover and a seconder, please. Bruce, John, all those in favor? Carried. Anybody wish to pull any of that for comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to bylaws. 18.1, bylaw 2025-22- for 2026 fee and charges. Prepared motion reads that bylaw 2025-22 being a bylaw to establish fees and charges for the 2026 be given a first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 20th day of May, 2025. Moving to seconder. John, Mark. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried, thank you. Nothing under notice of motions. We certainly don't have any media with us. I am assuming we don't have anyone online. So we'll go to 21 being closed session. 21.1, motion reads, motion to move to a closed session to discuss matters permitted under section 239-2C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, and D, labor relations or employee negotiations. Recommended that the Council of the Corporations Township of Hamilton acts as follows. At council meeting held on May 20th, move to closed session at 1:37 p.m. under the Municipal Act, section 239-2C and D. Mover and a seconder, moved by Larry, seconded by John. All those in favor? Carrie, thank you. And we'll just take a short 5-minute recess because this is the best time to do so. report coming out of closed session is that staff received direction as per discussed in closed session on the related items. Where on earth? Okay, item 24. Thanks, everyone. Confirmatory bylaw, prepared motion that bylaw 2025-23 being a bylaw to adopt the proceedings of the council meeting held on the 20th of May, 2025, and is to authorize its execution be given first, second, and third reading, and finally passed this 20th day of May. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Bruce, second by Larry. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Adjournment, motion reads the council meeting held on May 15th, 2020. Sorry. Council meeting held on May 20th, 2025 be adjourned at 2:09 PM. Mover, Mark, seconder, John. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you, everyone. And we'll give Amanda a moment to